welcome. I am Lane Amon, the Director of Content at mastermind.com, and we are here in the Mastermind Studios with Noelle Rippe. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Noelle is a marriage and family therapist, life coach, and the founder of In Full Bloom Retreats. Through courses and workshops, she helps women 50 and older manifest the life of their dreams with art journaling. That sounds amazing. Can we get started right now? Did you bring all your tools and we can start doing collages? And oh my gosh, I love that stuff. I love that. I absolutely love that. Anyway, I'm so excited to have you here in the Mastermind Studios talking about what life is like as a course creator. Courses have a near and dear to my heart. They're very special to me, so I'm super excited about our conversation today to hear about how you got started on your course journey and what tips and hints you can bring to our students. So tell me a little bit about your courses that you offer now. What does it look like now? And then we'll go back to when you first started.
Okay, so I created my first course because Dean told me that I had to do it, and he was doing so amazing. Everything he was teaching was so amazing that I did it. So, but yes, my courses evolved. And one of the things I would say is that at the beginning, I thought I needed to have the niche clear. And I was going to marry this niche. And this is going to be all I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. And I get bored very easily. So I had a hard time finding my niche. What happened is that as I started creating courses, my first course started changing me as a person, not only my clients. Me, if I think about me, who I was when my first course was on emptiness moms. It's called Emptiness Fulfilled Life. It's a beautiful course. It's very dear to me. And I created it because that's what I knew, what I was good at when I started Mastermind. But what I really wanted to do was talk to all kinds of women who had lost the purpose in life. I lost my purpose in life when my daughters walked out of the house. For me, it was like, I didn't know where I was standing. I was confused. I wasn't inspired. Like, I lacked vibrancy. So I said, okay, I create this course for emptiness moms. But as I evolved, now I'm doing these courses. I just founded In Full Bloom Retreats, which is amazing. And I'm doing retreats in my house. And then I'm doing courses to support the retreats. And it's amazing. But my life changed so much because I started with a course. Everything, who I am right now at 56, happy like you have no idea. So feeling so alive and vibrant more than ever. It all started with a course.
There's a couple of things I want to pick up on there. One is the idea that where you start doesn't have to be where you stay forever. And a lot of people who are watching this right now are probably at the beginning of the MBS, of Mastermind Business System, so they may not have gotten deep into the program yet. But a lot of times, especially those of us who are creative and have a lot of ideas, they think, how can I choose one niche? How can I choose one topic for the rest of my life? And what you're saying is you choose that now.
Yes.
See it through to completion, and then you can go back and change things. But what I always say is you got to pick and you got to stick, because if you don't pick and stick, you can't do everything if you don't do something. So there's those of us like us probably want to do everything, but you got to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere, and you have to really learn what it takes. One of the things, if you want something easy, don't come to create courses, don't come to this industry. It doesn't happen overnight. But there is a discovery about who you are and the gift you have to offer the world and how you want to serve, that as you start creating your course, you get more clear about who you are and what you're good at and what you could offer the world. And you start changing as a human being. And then with that, your business, what you put out there, starts changing too. And all of a sudden, instead of chasing after people, people start chasing after you. And it feels so good.
How did you move yourself, being a creative person, obviously, to say, okay, I'm going to start here? Because that makes a lot of people very anxious to have to say, this is what I'm doing, and because it feels like it's excluding everything else. So how did you handle that?
Well, first of all, I listened to Dean, and she said it 2 million times. It doesn't exclude other things. But the truth is, in order to have a good coaching program, in order to have a great retreat, you need a curriculum. And there is no way to build a curriculum better than a course. When you build a course, all of a sudden you have the book, you have the retreat, you have the coaching curriculum. So it's really, for me, is the way to start. Because it's a process of becoming aware of who you are and what you're here to do in this world, I feel. And then you get organized. And once you're organized, and once you have this, you can go down and up that value ladder that Dean talks about. But this is basic. This is the foundation for me, at least.
What did that first course look like? What was the structure of that?
To be honest with you, like some of the people who are watching right now, I struggled a little bit with understanding how to put the course together. Of course, there were lessons and everything, but it took me a while to understand how I wanted to do it. And what I have used from when I realized that until now is I use Dean's Clarity tool. So you have first where are you at right now? If you don't know where you're starting, how do you know where to go, right? Then the second one is find the vision. Where do you want to go? If you don't know where you want to go, if you don't know where you are, how are you going to get there? Then you have the third, which is why. Why do you want it so much? And once you know it, once you know your why, you're more likely to stick when things get hard. And then capabilities, which capabilities do you need? So the same thing Dean used with me, I said, okay, what are my clients going to need, my emptiness moms? First, they need to understand and become aware that they're sad because of this, what they need, where they're at with their children, with their spouses, in their lives, their purpose. Then find the vision, which is the second part, that's module 2. Module 3, you go with the why, you can go into mindset. Unless you change your mindset, you will not be able to accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish. And then the capabilities, which I think is what caters exactly to your audience. So for me, it was finding that structure of using the Clarity tool to create my own courses and using all the techniques that needed to be done in each section made it so easy for me to put these things together and take my clients in such a wonderful journey because of this, because I have this clarity and all these steps.
I love that too, because it gives a natural beginning and end, because a lot of times people think, well, I don't know what to put in, what's enough, where do I start, where do I stop? But with that structure, it makes it really clear. Yeah. What did that look like? Was it you teaching to camera? Was it you talking over slides? What did it look like when you created the course?
When I created the course, it was me in front of the camera 2,000,005 times because I hated my voice. I hated the way I looked. I didn't like seeing my wrinkles on camera. I felt I sounded stupid. And I repeated and repeated and repeated until at some point I started talking and I was able to connect to my heart. And all of a sudden, I got so emotional, I get emotional thinking about it, that I made myself cry from the depth of what I was sharing. And at that point, the whole vanity thing vanished. And I realized this is a lot more about what I'm giving my clients, the people who have this pain that I've had not too long ago. And that changed it for me. But it was me in front of the camera. I don't use slides because I feel I like doing it from the heart. I really trust in my experience and that I really know this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be teaching it. So I don't need that. Maybe I have some notes, some bullet points. And also, I cannot see without my glasses. So I would have to be doing like...
I've got mine right here. Let me know if you need to borrow. Yeah, the same thing. Take them on and off. And
so I learned how to do it like that.
Yeah. I really appreciate what you're saying about not liking yourself on camera, because I think there's very few people who do, but probably a lot of people watching right now are thinking, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. What is she complaining about? Her accent is so charming. She's so fun, and her eyes, and and the things that we pick apart ourselves, other people either don't notice at all or they see it as a positive.
Yeah.
But we all feel that way. And so you reached a point where it was more important for you to get that information out there than it was to worry about, oh my gosh, I don't look like I did when I was 25 or whatever it might be. And you had to keep doing that. You didn't try once and give up. You just said, I am going to do this. What motivated you to keep doing that instead of just saying, okay, I don't enjoy this, I'm not going to do this?
I wasn't going to give up. When I heard Dean and Tony's promise that I could serve and have freedom at the same time, I said, this is my boat. I had been serving as a family therapist and art therapist for many, many years. I loved it. Then I got tired when my daughters left the nest. I wanted to have freedom. And I stopped being a therapist and started traveling the world with my husband because he's always filming everywhere. And then when COVID hit, I wasn't serving and I wasn't traveling. We couldn't travel. So all of a sudden, when I heard Tony and Dean talk about, okay, do you want to have more freedom and do you want to serve? You don't need to pick between one and the other one. You can do both. That sold me. And I was like, I will do whatever it takes. Plus, my daughters, who are adults and they're women like me, they were like monitoring me. They wanted to know what I was doing. And I knew it was important. All my life, I led by example. And I wanted to show them how beautiful it can be to be 50 plus, how strong, how powerful, how giving, how nurturing you can be. So for me, it was something I also, like going back to being a mom, for me, being a mom was such a big deal and is such a big deal that I did it for me and I did it for my daughters and for all of their friends. Their friends asked me, Noel, how old are you? Now I'm 56, just turned 56. And it's 50, I want to be 56, I want to be like you. And I remember when I finished filming that first day that was successful, my daughter calls me, Francesca, the oldest, and she says, Mommy, how did it go? And she tells me, I was afraid to ask you. I thought you were going to be all sad. And all of a sudden, you say, I killed it. I was so good that I made myself cry. And she was so proud. She tells this story to everybody. I can't believe. I went from being afraid of the camera, afraid of everything, to being here with you.
Right.
I was sobbing today on the airplane. Maybe it shows in my eyes a little poofy. Because it's like, wow, how can this happen?
Oh, that is so beautiful. And it tells me how important it is to have your why. Because if you hadn't had that why, you're just like, I'm going to go do a course on, grocery shopping or whatever it is, and you didn't feel emotionally connected, you wouldn't have continued.
And you know what else? I know we're talking about courses, but the community here at Mastermind. So there is something about community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think there's a misconception that with courses you don't get community.
Oh, you do.
And you, I am sure, have created a community around your course. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, you get the community that comes with Mastermind, and then you create the same type of community because it's so contagious for your own clients. So now you have the community of coaches around you, because when you buy your course, then there are summits and there are many occasions to meet on Zoom with a larger group. And then if you get to a mastermind, then you get to meet people in person. But once you start developing those friendships and those relationships with people who want to grow more than anything else, oh my God, there is no other place you want to be.
Everybody is now part of the mastermind community by being in Mastermind Business System, and then to be able to give that gift to the people who buy your course, that, hey, we can then move on and create a community or create a mastermind, or maybe it's just a group that you do through, we have a new Mastermind Business Hub where people can create, which you probably heard about, create communities through there. And it's really, you get to create that same gift for your audience. It doesn't have to be, it can be, I'm just creating this course and there's no other aspect to it.
Oh, but don't do that. Because
Talk about that.
When you do that, no, you need the community. You need the community because you will have to learn so many things. Speaking in front of the camera, coming up with a curriculum. Then you say, Dean always says, you create it, you think you create it, and they're going to buy it. It doesn't happen. When I created my first course, I was so afraid that I was going to become instantly famous. And that I was going to, I would lose my freedom and I would not be able to go bike and hike and swim and all the things I love doing at this point in my life. And so I was like, oh no, I don't want to publish it now because I'm on vacation. And finally I published it. And then I went an hour later, nothing. 2 hours later, nothing. A week later, my cousin bought my first course because I hadn't built my audience.
Right.
Another thing I did, I tried to create this audience like far away from me, right? Like reels and this and that, which is great doing, but I didn't go for the lowest hanging fruit. That is another thing Dean talks about. The people who are in your environment, in your circle already, and you know they're needing this.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that first course, your cousin was your first purchaser.
Yes.
How did it grow from there? How did you start making letting people know it was out there and making
Yeah.
sales.
This is what happened when my cousin and a couple of other women I didn't know, bought the course. And they started going through it. And I saw that a couple of them got stuck in the vision. And they couldn't find their vision. I started calling my cousin. And I said, why aren't you calling me back? How is it going? And she wouldn't call me back. And I thought, she's stuck in the vision. So I said, please, I understand that you're stuck. Don't be shy. Call me. You need feedback on your courses. And when I talked to her, she started sobbing on the phone. I said, Noel, whatever I do, I cannot see a vision for myself in the future. I have been dreaming for my husband, for my children for so long. I don't know what I want. So what I did, I created, because I'm an art therapist, I created a book, an art journal for empty nest mamas to support the course.
Oh, wow.
And that became my lead magnet. And this is what did amazing out there. I started doing the book and I recorded myself going through the art journal. And then I put it on Facebook and people started going wild. So they started getting my ebook. And when they saw the ebook, they started buying my lower ticket offer. And they started doing the ebook with me on like a pre-recorded thing. And then they started coming to my course. So I think one of the things is very important to be aware that you have your best intentions, but if something is not working, you need to reach out to the people. That's why it's good that people you know are doing your course, because then you know where they're getting stuck. And you say, okay, how can I fix it?
Right.
And now with art therapy, people can find their vision right there. And that's what I'm doing on my retreats.
It wasn't like you had it all planned out and perfect to start with, where you said, this is going to be the lead magnet and people are going to do this. And then, because Dean, again, talks about the value ladder and people think, I've got to have it all mapped out. And you can't, because you picked one step to focus on, figured out where people were getting stuck, gave them what they needed to be successful, and it just organically built from there.
Yes.
As people responded to you and connected and gave you feedback, and you were open to that feedback.
Yes.
And you said, okay, because it was a servant. You wanted to serve them. So what do you need to get this result? Oh, I need this. Or they explain their problem, and then in your mind, you're like, okay, a journal would be great. Or all those kinds of things. That's
I was like, I asked her. We tried doing meditation over the phone. Didn't work. She lives in Uruguay. I live here. We tried so many things. And then I said, I'm an art therapist. Why I'm not using this? The other thing is tap into everything you have. Draw from all of your experience and add the pieces you need. And then your course can keep on growing.
And that's what is going to make it unique from a course somebody else would have done about empty nest
Exactly.
moms. Because of your art therapy background, you were able to bring that in and make it something that you can't get everywhere else.
No.
It was just specific to what you do, and then that becomes your unique selling proposition, and it makes it easy to market and reach the people, target audience. It all works together.
The other thing about course creation is that sometimes I feel at the beginning I wanted to put everything in one course. But what I ended up doing is my second course is one of the modules on Emptiness Fulfilled Life. The last module is how to get along with your adult children. And then when I realized there was a lot of need for that, I created a course based on that fifth module. I created a whole course called The Secret to Bonding with your adult children in 3 easy steps.
Oh, wow.
And so I went really deep.
Yep.
So it's always beautiful to have a next place to take your people. One of the things I realize is that when people have a good experience with you, they want to stay with you. So instead of putting everything in one course and overwhelming your clients, because that's what you're going to do, have in your mind, okay, I'm going to do this piece now, and then I'm going to take them to this and to that. And then all of a sudden you have people who stay with you and who get the whole benefit. Because if you put a lot of knowledge in one course and you don't give them the experience or the time to work on it, the transformation is not going to be that great.
Right.
It's going to be less.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing that I'm seeing, that it's nice to pace yourself and to do things. We're all overwhelmed with information right now. What we need is knowing I can do this. This can be easy and simple, and I can do it like this, and it works, and I see results right away.
Absolutely.
When it becomes a chore, like, oh my God, now I have to listen to this 5-hour video, they will not do it.
Yeah, we tend to think more is better, and that's not necessarily true. Transformation is better. Action is better. So how much does it take to get them a win? And then you can stack those wins on top of each other. How long was your first course?
My first course was pre-recorded,
Okay,
so people could do it. And then I offered the group coaching
Okay.
With it. That was 8 weeks.
Okay.
So that was the first course I did was like that.
So was each module about an hour long or longer or what?
It was, I think it was about, an hour long
Okay.
each module
Yeah,
probably,
and-
but in small
Chunks.
videos.
Right,
of
right.
10 minutes,
That's
12 minutes, something
That's
like that.
exactly what we recommend that people do. So, because people would rather watch the first one of 10 videos that are 6 minutes each versus an hour long video. It just feels so much more accessible, and they think, I'll check this one out and see if I have, because if we wait till we have an hour or two, we're never going to have it.
Yes.
But everybody has 10 minutes to sit down.
And if you
and
have
watch
to
something.
stop in the middle.
Right, then they might not come back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. What do you wish you'd known about course creation before you started creating your first course?
It's not about course creation, but make sure while you're creating your course, you have an audience, you're building your audience and ask them questions that reflect back to your course. Because when you create a course thinking that this is going to work and you don't have an audience, it's going to happen what happened to me. A week later, I had one sale to my cousin. So I felt I needed to complete my course and to have it ready to start building my audience, because I felt like I couldn't do both. But I think there is an organic way of doing both. And then getting that feedback from your audience every week and that excitement makes your course better.
So it gives you an authentic opportunity to talk about what you do without
Yes.
selling, because you don't have anything to sell yet.
No, exactly.
I love that. I love
Yes.
that. Is there any personality type that would not be good at creating a course?
I think it's not that it's a personality type, but personality traits. If you're a perfectionist, try not to be a perfectionist because you will never finish.
Right.
I know people who have been in these communities for such a long time and they haven't created anything, nothing is up, no course, and they're really frustrated and they're
Yeah.
feeling really deflated, and the only thing that is holding them back is perfectionism,
Right.
which doesn't exist.
Right.
So I think it's the trait of being a perfectionist, and the other one is trying to do it by yourself. Those are the two things I would warn, and as a therapist, I say you can work on those,
Right.
both of them.
Right.
So everybody can do this, but there's certain things you need to watch when you're getting into this, like, this has to be perfect. You need to watch, and that's the beauty of this. By entering this field and by creating your course and maybe a mastermind, and then you're going to become such a beautiful, deep, amazing, happy, vibrant human being. This is for me, and this is for everybody. We all deserve to bloom.
I love it.
We all deserve
I
it.
love it. If somebody feels like they don't have a cheering section, that they don't have people who believe in them, what would you say to them?
You're going to find them in this community.
Good answer.
It doesn't matter if you don't have it. People around you, they might cheer you on, or they might be really scared that they're going to lose you if you become this amazing woman or man. But you need your community. You need the community of people who are doing the same thing, who are speaking the same language. So that's why I think doing it alone, one, is boring, and two, I would have quit it so many times if I didn't have my peers
Right.
cheering me on, and people I could call and I could cry with because I did my first reel and I had 2 views or something like that, People don't understand that. But
Right.
people in the community,
Right.
they understand
They get
that.
it. They get
What's
it.
important to you.
Noelle, this has been amazing. I know you've touched so many people with your passion. I can see it shining through, and I can't wait to check out your courses, being an empty nest mom myself. And I just want to thank you so much for taking time to join us here in the Mastermind studio. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a dream come true. I have to. This morning I was pinching myself, thinking, is this a dream? I'm
Not
here.
a dream. See what's going to happen when you pick and stick. Pick a path,
Oh
stick
my
to
God.
it, keep refining, and your dreams can come true.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.